Most career advice says you're either climbing, quitting, or coasting. And fair. There's fair points to that. But what if none of those feel quite right? What if you feel like you're doing all the things, but something is still off? I had a client, let's call her Sarah. And Sarah had the title, the salary, and my God, the education. Girl had a whole doctorate. But I remember in one of our calls, she talked about how she felt like she was like playing a role that she didn't quite fit in, because she wasn't miserable, but she wasn't truly fulfilled either. And I think that's an important point that we kind of brush to the side when it comes to careers. We think, okay, as long as you have the salary and the title and the education, that everything's gonna work out. But that fulfillment, honestly, especially as you go further in your career and other things start popping up in your life, kids, spouse, house, all these other responsibilities, your priorities start changing, and then you start looking at your job, at your career, and you're saying, okay, something's just not right. And like you, if you're watching this, and like my client Sarah, and even like me, when I work with ambitious women, especially those of us who feel like we're high achieving, I've seen this over and over again, where we get stuck because we've been taught that success has one direction. It is to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, white picket fence, happy, get a dog, right? But the truth is, there are so many different directions that you can go, and your career and your life will never be in a straight line or linear. But you have to be able to roll with the changes, roll with the punches, in order to see growth in not only your professional, but your personal life as well. Almost forgot. My name is Jordan. I am a career coach, a puzzle lover, mom, and your guide to building a life and career that fits you. So there's 4 specific paths I want to talk about today. There's more, obviously, but these are the 4 that I see a lot. And these are the 4 that can keep us stuck when we don't actually know what we want. The first direction is up, so promotion. And this is the first thing that we are taught to chase after again and again and again. Title, corner office, more money, bigger paycheck, all the things, right? And sometimes that's exactly what you want, but other times it's not. And you only want it because society has told you you wanted it, or you only want it because your sister's best friend's cousin, it has a corner office, and you're like, dang, I want that. Like, but
do you?
We're chasing it because we think that we want it, not because it aligns with values, lifestyles, goals. I could care less about a corner office. Like, do I want my office to have a window? Sure, but I never open it. So my point being, it's up to what you want. I remember wanting to get a promotion and getting that promotion, and then being in there a few years and being like, oh my God, this isn't enough. Like, it's not enough. It was enough back before everything, all the responsibilities came, but I'm like, wow, this is not enough. And so, what I did? I went, and at first, mind you, was gonna just go straight for the next one. Then I stopped and thought about it. I was like, wait, okay. When I say not enough, what do I mean? When you say not enough, what do you mean? Do you mean more money? Do you mean more flexibility? Do you mean more creative freedom? What do you mean? Because if there's a way for you to make your current role better, is that a path? Or is it only up, only way to get what you want is a promotion? If it is, cool. But if it's not, and you're just running up the ladder without looking at what's above you, do you even want to be up there? So just think about that. That's one direction you can go. The next direction is over or pivot, and that is when you shift into a new industry, a new role or function. And I feel it's courageous, yes, yet misunderstood. A lot of people feel like you have to start over and start from the bottom. You don't. You're just leveraging your skills in a different industry. And careers or industries like I would say not industries, but like a type of role, like finance, right? Finance can be its own industry, but it is a role within almost every company, everywhere, right? Books need to be balanced, accounts need to be managed, all the bills receivable and all and billable and all these things, right? There's so many different finance roles you can get into. Same thing with like HR. Most big companies and medium ones, small ones too, have HR because there's different types of regulations, policies, and procedures that need to be adhered to. So when you're only going for these large companies, these like uber big finance companies, or these like extravagantly large HR companies, and you're not looking at different roles, that's or different types of companies or different roles, that's where pivoting can seem a little frightening. But I've seen people pivot beautifully into other industries in the same role and pivot beautifully in industries in a different role where they were able to leverage those skills. So that's the second career direction you can go into. Then there is out. That's a career direction. So when you're tired, over it, burnt out, mentally done, your health might be waning, and there's something on your heart that's telling you, I gotta go, and you just want out, and you don't necessarily, whether that be out into things like entrepreneurship or out into things like contract work. So there's different outs, and you really need to think about it, because out is just not quitting your job. I would never recommend that you just quit your job without anything lined up or anything that has been thought about. But out, which is exit entirely, is a career direction that you can go. Leaving can be powerful, but it can also stir up feelings of guilt and all the time that you wasted on your success. It's never a waste, because you built up the skills, experience, knowledge, and abilities that you have now that you can either take into a different lane or pause altogether and figure out what your next move is. And the fourth career direction is one that a lot of us do, but not intentionally, and that's through. And that's just sticking it out. Because sometimes the best move, or the move, is no move. You take a beat, you reset and regroup, and you build behind the scenes. This one is rarely celebrated, but it's so valid as long as it's intentional and not done by like default. You don't want to just stick it out for the sake of sticking it out. Like, what's the plan? What are we building? What skills are we getting? What values are we honing in on? Like, are we networking? Are we building, like our tight-knit group? Like, what are we doing? Like, just sticking it out to stick it out is the path of burnout and survival mode. So what are we doing in the background to help this situation? Think about it. The real reason these choices feel so heavy is because we're pressured to get everything right, to get everything perfect. You gotta have $1 million by the time you're 25. You gotta have 5 kids in a white picket fence by the time you're 35. You gotta be CEO by the time you're 40 or 30, whatever. All these things are external. Or sometimes internal, right? Sometimes we're holding ourselves to these crazy standards. But clarity doesn't come from waiting for a sign. It comes from you taking some action after you ask yourself the right questions. And you don't need to figure out your entire career today. You're going to need to do that someday, but not today. You just need to make the next right, aligned decision for you. One that honors who you are right now, not who you were 5 years ago, because remember I talked about your responsibilities have changed. You have changed. You maybe have kids or spouse or a house, or you got a new whatever, dog, car, whatever, right? Things have changed in your life personally, and therefore your professional life should dictate that as well. And then not to make these decisions based on what others expect you to do too, right? Because sometimes the families, the friends, they've got your best interest at heart, hopefully, but they're not in your mind, and they don't see what you see every day. So just make the decision for yourself. So if you feel like this is resonating for you, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you're sitting there feeling like I don't know what I want to do, but I know it's not this, then let's work it out together. So down in the description, you'll find my Career Clarity Blueprint, a mini course that'll help you figure out your next aligned steps and what you want to do, whether pivot, promotion, or something else entirely. So go ahead and check that out down in the description below so you can stop spiraling, and start moving forward. All right, that's all I got for you today. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.